Nancy Reagan stated that if we cannot stem the American demand for drugs, then there will be little hope of preventing foreign drug procedures from fulfilling that demand. We will not get anywhere if we place a heavier burden of action on foreign governments than on Americans' own mayors, judges, and legislators. You see, the cocaine cartel does not begin in Middle Columbia. It begins in the streets of New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and every American city where crack is bought and sold. And I got that quote from the Failed War on Drugs opinion from New York Times. And currently our drug situation in the United States and really everywhere just isn't ideal. We are currently going through an opioid crisis, and there are a lot of people ending up in jails and prisons and rehabs and hospitals because of drugs. And the majority of the people that do drugs go to jails and prisons, and it's overpopulating the prisons and making it more difficult for those who actually need to be in prison, because jails and prisons don't rehabilitate addicts. They really don't have any programs for people who are addicted, and they mainly because the cost of it, and they're working towards that, but they haven't seen really any improvement on those programs for a while now. Jails and prisons, I think they're good for people who do crimes. However, those who have addictions are mentally ill. They need mental help, and jails don't provide that for them, so they go back out and they go back to what they know, which is using whatever it was that they were using, and they end right back up in the situation that they were in, which is in jail and prison, or even they end up dead. My fiance, he is an addict, and he was addicted to meth for a couple of years, and it was in the beginning of our relationship. We've now been together for 6 years, and during the beginning part of our relationship, I really got into addiction. Like, I've always been interested in learning about addiction, but I really became more interested in it once I saw what addiction can do to a person firsthand. And he was in and out of jail, and he really didn't get the help he needed until he went to rehab, which is where he learned about the 12 steps. And he met amazing counselors, and he met other addicts that helped him through his addiction. And I feel like that's what addicts really need, is instead of jail time, they need rehabilitation, and they're not getting that in jail, and they're just really taking up a lot of not necessarily space, but cells that could be used for other people that commit horrendous crimes, or they do acts such as stealing and murdering. So basically, I feel like if the public opinion shifted its direction on, like, drugs and how they thought about addicts, I feel like more procedures would be taken to help those with an addiction than what is taken now. A lot of people think that addiction isn't really a mental disease, but it is, and like I said, prisons and jails don't really help those who have addictions. It just goes back to the same cycle, and they go back through going through jail and the withdrawals and then getting out and using again and going back to jail and going through all of that again. So my opinion and what I think needs to happen is that jails need to be eliminated from those with addiction problems and drug problems, and rehabilitation and treatment facilities need to be enabled and used to their benefit.